Hi, this is Nick on September the 1st. Welcome to a new month. I like to think of it as a new term as well. People are gradually getting themselves back from holidays and back in the saddle of things. So we're continuing this week's theme of vulnerability. And as I was explaining yesterday, I've given myself a bit of a hard time over the years thinking, gosh, when am I ever going to stop feeling so vulnerable? And I had a big lesson on this just a couple of years ago now, 2.5 years ago, around kind of being able to accept and the word I like is soften around my vulnerability. And what caused that, I'm just checking that my microphone's on and okay, I think it is. What helped me soften around this was a conversation I was having with my friend Liz, who is a TV producer, and you may have heard me talk about her in the past, that she's been producing all the 6 Downton series. She produces films and TV series and TV programs, and we were having a conversation which is on my blog. It wasn't a private conversation, so you can listen to it. And when I asked her what her job as a producer was, there was lots of elements to it, but one of the things she said to me was, one of my jobs is to recognize that whenever anybody chooses to put their creativity out into the public domain, there is going to be a degree of fear and fragility and vulnerability. And that, she said my job is to be a bit of a psychologist and to understand that and to see beyond, the behavior that sometimes gets manifested on set as a big ego, and recognize that underneath that somebody's probably just feeling afraid, they're feeling a bit scared, they're feeling vulnerable. And at the time, it took me a little while afterwards when I was listening back to the recording to kind of realize, I thought, well, hang on, Liz gets to work with the best in the world, the most professional people, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And what she seems to be saying is, a lot of people turn up on set feeling a bit scared and feeling a bit vulnerable. So it suddenly dawned on me, it's like, why am I giving myself such a hard time when even the best in the world at what they do get to feel scared and vulnerable at times? And it's kind of obvious and we kind of know it, but for me it was just one of those validating moments where I went, oh, this isn't about never feeling vulnerable, this is about learning to handle my vulnerability. And for each of us it's about learning to be, what I often call like a spiritual pro. It's like, a lot of us think, well, I'll try and manipulate and form my life into something where I won't have to feel this vulnerability. And the real pro says, I'm always going to be feeling this vulnerability. What I can learn to do is handle it. I can learn to handle myself in the face of fear. I can learn to handle myself in the face of resistance. And to me, that's the kind of liberating thought. None of us escape this. Even the best in the world at what we do, whether we're an actor or a speaker or a coach or a parent or an entrepreneur, a leader, whatever we are, even when we are one of the best at what we do, we're still going to experience this. And maybe it's our willingness to understand and handle our own vulnerability that actually makes us one of the best, because my belief is the more that we can kind of recognize and handle our own vulnerability, the easier it is for us to recognize it in the people around us, and instead of judging it, kind of go, oh, I can see what's going on there, they're really just afraid, it looks like they're being a prat or a bit of an arse, but really they're just afraid. So I think there is tremendous power in becoming acquainted with our own vulnerability so that we can understand it in others too. So that's today's thought about, learning to handle your vulnerability is the key thing, because even, the best in the world still feel their vulnerability. So I hope that's helpful to you. God bless. Have a good day.